So now we'll get into a little bit more detail with each of the profiles within the domain. DEC, or Device Enterprise Communication, was the first profile launched by PCD domain. This profile has three actors. There's a Device Observation Reporter, or DOR, which is the sending system in a transaction. Device Observation Consumer, or the receiving system in a transaction. And the Device Observation Filter. And this is an optional component to provide the ability to filter floods of information that may be delivered from some types of medical devices that could be connected to the EHR or to alarming systems. If a device has an observation that needs to be put into the patient's medical record for use in decision-making or research, perhaps, this profile provides a common way of getting that information from the devices to the storage applications that would consume or provide records keeping for that type of data. In each of these profiles, you'll notice there's a series of transactions used. All of the PCD domain profile messages start with a PCD moniker, followed by a number to associate their purpose, which allows for easy identification when we're going through certification of the events or for troubleshooting in customer environments. Within this profile, for instance, PCD01 is a source message, and PCD02 is the response to each one of those messages for the back and forth support or bidirectional support of the messaging. Our next profile in the domain is ACM, or Alert Communications Management. If a device has an alert that needs to be addressed, this profile can be used in each of those cases. This profile may be used for any alerts that require notification from the device, including patient-level alarms that need to be delivered, workflow step notifications, or advisory events about the device condition or status itself. This profile has three actors as well, similarly to DEC. The Alert Reporter, or AR, this one, the Alert Reporter detects, synthesizes, and generates a notification based on the patient conditions. This is for devices connected directly to the patient. The Alert Manager, which receives, filters, and directs the notification from the AR based on the content in the PCD04 message that's delivered. And the AM uses its own configuration or information extracted from the message from the AR actor to determine what staff roles, groups, or individuals should receive notice of the event. Alert communicators are at the endpoint for this, which is responsible for receiving and displaying the notification of the event to the recipient while providing a means of response for workflow purposes. And consequently, this is the actor that would use the WCTP profile that we talked about earlier. Within this profile, the PCD04 is a source message for an alert, and it's qualified and then generated by the AR actor. When the AM receives the PCD04 message, it can optionally provide a PCD05 response for status updates going back to the AR actor that may need that for reporting, logging, or for individual feature support. This does not eliminate the need, of course, for an HL7 ACT message, but rather provides an ability to update status to the source system that sent the alarm. The AM actor uses a PCD06 message then to send out, deliver a message for display to the AC actor. PCD06 is done via WCTP as opposed to HL7, and that can then be sent out, and the AC can provide status updates to the AM for use in alert scenario escalations for reporting or logging, and that can be done via a PCD07. That can be optionally passed, the PCD07 information, as a PCD05 back to the alarm reporter, should they need that for their own workflows or for recording or reporting. This profile can use these transactions to support all phases of the alert process from start to finish. We also look to improve the safety of infusion order processing. With infusion order processing, we're adding a sixth right to the 5 rights, the right patient, right medication, right dose, right time, and right route. We add a sixth level of the right device. And that information is passed in for confirmation the device is programmed correctly for the order. Benefits include better safety in association and a better record of that device association for records keeping. As the infusion is occurring, whether it was programmed manually or in an automated fashion through PIV, you need to get information on pause, resume, or other parameters that can be considered a progress update into the patient's record, or at least into the device's record. These commonly go into a bedside medication administration system, or a BCMA, as we call it, or directly into the EMR in some cases for viewing and validation purposes. For those transactions, we'll use a PCD03 message type in the infusion pump event communication profile, also known as IPEC. Implantable device cardiac observations, or IDCO, handles updates of implantable devices, such as a pacemaker or implanted defibrillator, through gateway devices that a patient will connect to at different times of the day, whether they be at home or in a clinic. These gateway devices, which normally connect back to a corporate server using raw data from the implanted device and then passed to those corporate servers via an XML or other proprietary format, then go to servers or gateways that they may connect to. Those gateways then process these updates out to the patient's record in the EHR via a standards-based IHE message that is similar to the DEC profile messages that we discussed earlier for records keeping, research, or later viewing. If the DEC data that was being captured from these devices was only set for storage, it would not be able to be called back when some use cases require it. So for scenarios where data callback is needed, PCD provides the Retrospective Data Query, or RDQ profile, which allows for data that was stored in a central server to be called back using specific times or patient parameters or other searchable items within the record. As you can see here, we have a PCD12 and a PCD13 for request and response of these message types within the transactions. Okay, so waveform content. With many devices such as physiological monitors and ventilators, waveform data can be included as part of the data that they process. The waveform content module, or WCM, as we call it, provides a standard for inclusion of this data within both the DEC and the ACM profiles. This can be sent in two forms. We can receive waveform images or waveform data in two different types of forms. A live streaming waveform can be provided that constantly updates, or content can be recorded into a waveform snippet or an image, including a snapshot of the patient waveform in an update or an outgoing event. Using these two methods, remote monitoring, the patient waveforms can be accomplished via workstations where the live waveform could be seen, or from some smart mobile devices that have web capability or the ability to display image data. Moving from the patient relationship to the device and the events they drive onto management of the equipment itself, we have MEMDMC and MEMLS. The medical equipment management, or MEM type events and data items, are focused around the management and health of the devices we're using for patients. These profiles produce information on device status like, is it charging? What is the charge level right now? Is it almost ready for use, etc. Device location or device availability is also included. For example, is it assigned to someone right now? Is the device actually available, or is it not in its proper location? Combining these data elements, we can drive important queries for things that nurses or physicians might need. Where can I find my available device? What is my idle rate for devices, and how much utilization of my devices is occurring? Do I need more inventory, or do I have a surplus of inventory for loaners to other partner facilities? Is the pump leaving the building in a possible theft, an asset management approach that's important to many customers? Availability of these data points drives clinical efficiencies in allowing staff to quickly find the device that they need for patients on a very busy floor, and be notified immediately for problems with those devices should they occur. The data also provides a better understanding of asset management needs for the facility and ensures notification of important events whenever they're needed. As we look at device integration across all of our profiles, we still see a number of devices out there in use that do not have newer IP-based interfaces, but rather an older serial-based connection, typically on the back of the device, for the purpose of data collection. These slower interfaces can lead to bottlenecks in data transmission without proper management. So the IHE PCD group has developed the OMS, or Optimized Message Syntax, format in an effort to adapt IHE PCD profiles for those devices that have those slow legacy RS-232 ports. OMS will optimize the PCD messages to reduce their size, but still maintain consistency with mainstream PCD messages. The result is a more predictable and efficient transmission of data between systems that still drives the content needed to make decisions for support or to make sure we're ensuring proper records keeping. And our last profile we'll cover here is PCIM. The purpose of the PCIM working group is to discuss additional use cases and means for recording of events or devices becoming associated with patients. This is a means for systems to receive notifications such as events, as well as to query the state of patient device associations. This profile creates a single authoritative source for patient device association using 3 distinct factors. Device patient associations are done with a device patient association manager. Recording associations from other systems is the job of the device patient association reporter. And the responding to the patient queries from other systems is the job of the device patient association consumer. Some key topics this profile covers: standards-based device patient association workflows, and incorporates barcode or RFID to assist in the identification of patients, devices, and staff. So having all of these profiles would not do much good or be very useful for us without some assurance that they can be verified. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, partners with the IHE to create independent testing tools that allow us to verify proper operations and conformance of vendor-created solutions that use the profiles. These automated tools are available online for implementers to test their conformance to the IHE profiles and ensure other vendors can work with them in live implementations out in the market. These tools are also used for verification purposes during virtual testing in pre-Connectathon, which we usually start up around the September timeframe, and by vendors participating in the IHE annual Connectathon event each January. The messages PCD vendors produce and consume can be put into these tools, and we can see here a general path for the automated validation process that's provided by the tools. A report is generated for each test, which can be copied by the tester for use. The reports for testing can also be stored for later use by the vendor who creates a login to be able to find those messages and use them in the tools. This allows information to be used later to improve the tools or in further validation of the profiles themselves, since we can use historical data to record for upcoming testing events.